Well, I'm starting with the hood here, and got it cranked open farther than it ought to be, I suppose. But just got to get that spring off there. It's kind of a different sort of attachment. It's got 4 bolts that hold this bracket on, and then that spring goes way down in there. So I popped that spring off there, and now there's 1 bolt here and 1 bolt directly opposite it on the bottom. And then this side will be off. Just repeat that on the other side. Alright, well, I've got the 2 back ones off. Those come off from the inside back here, and then just 1 right here on top and 1 on the bottom. I think the trick here is going to be doing it in such a way as to not mar the finish. Not that, the car's ready to be painted or anything, but still, any damage I inflict on the car is going to be more I'm going to have to fix later. So it's actually, the cowl is flared, and so when you remove these bolts, unlike most hoods on most cars where they want to just jump off the car, when you pull these out, they just sort of sink down. They stay right in the right place. See how the whole thing just sinks down? And now, oh, there it goes, settled out. And now we're ready to pull it off. And there we go. Okay, so right now I'm working on taking out the core support, and something kind of interesting is, so there's the passenger side, and the driver's side you can see I've already got it out and it's all loose here. But something that's kind of weird is that the radiator actually is also the nuts for all the bolts on the back side here. And it might be a little hard to see, but you can see that threaded piece, and it's actually attached to the radiator. And so the radiator is all those parts. The nuts to all those bolts that holds everything together. But what stinks is I really need to replace this radiator because it's got a big old cracky split that somebody had already tried to solder together. I don't think it's likely to be going back in. Probably going to upgrade to something more modern. Although this is a pretty beefy unit. I'm not sure if it's a triple core or what it is, but we'll see what we can do. But it'd be kind of interesting putting all that back together. So now I got to get those 4 bolts out over there. This is a stove bolt straight 6. For the size of this engine, it doesn't make a whole lot of horsepower. To see what we're going to do here. I don't think I'm going to keep this. It's a stock engine, but it hasn't turned over since I've had it. Guy said it ran when we parked it. We all know how that goes. Got that nice engine out of that combine. Doesn't look like much at the moment, but she's got low miles, and my goodness, it runs good. Because I pulled that myself. I actually drove the combine to pull that engine out, and it runs like a top. Thinking I'm just going to scrap this. It's got the torque tube coming out of the back of the tranny on this, going to a rear end that's built for torque tubes, and you get into all that old stuff, and when things go bad, it's a lot harder to repair. And just running with modern gear ratios, it's going to be easier to travel on the expressway. I think I'm just going to be a lot happier with modern stuff. I do see this being built as a cruiser, and it's not a V8. I'm not trying to go out there and do burnouts all day, and I'm not trying to impress anybody. I just want something that's going to be real drivable. Those straight 6s, they last forever, man, and it'll be a great car for many years to come. So I think I'm going to go that route. But this is still the 6-cylinder setup, or the 6-volt 6-cylinder setup in here. Everything on this car is still original 6-volt. Nothing's been changed over to 12 volts. It's all original. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's going to scream bloody murder because I'm taking it apart. But, every hot rod starts somewhere. This is just the way I want to build it, and it's funny because, people will be the first to get in line and tell you that you're not doing it the way it should be done. But how many of those same guys want me to tell them how to build their cars? The fine line you walk when you start telling people what they can do with their own stuff. This car was for sale. Anybody could have bought it. I bought it. So I'm going to build it the way I want it. That's what I hope you do too. Man, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great. Talk to you soon, guys.